Bills fans. Woo! Rick, you're already here. Thank you, brother. You've always been a great dude, man. I appreciate you, man. Ah, my first regular season live in living color Bills experience was was pretty damn good. I must say, in my home state of New Jersey, it was pretty damn good. Um, After last week, God, what a terrible week that was. What a terrible, terrible week. Hussein, there's the guy. Meets me in the tunnel, recognizes me, walks up to me, gives me pound, and I'm like, bro, I will shit you not. I walked away and I'm like, they're gonna win today. For some reason, you recognizing me and running into me let me know like they're gonna win. They're gonna win. Really appreciate you, man. What's up, Los Damager? Oh man, solid seats, solid seats. Only, you know what? What's up, Eric? Is there anything worse at a sporting event than motherfuckers who constantly keep standing up in front of you? Then you have to constantly ask to sit down and then get belligerent when you ask them to sit down for the second time. I'm like, yo, dog, I've asked you to sit down twice. I did not pay to watch the back of your head. Sorry, I had to get that off my chest. Yeah, man, to see that game live, Hussein, was great. So, sorry, I had to vent about that. I just had to. It's just like, yo, sit down, man. The Mike White experience. I don't know if you guys could tell on the TV because it's completely different on TV than, as you know, you've been to games. All of you have, and the way you watch a football game on the television as opposed to live is completely different, palpably different. That kid has to put every ounce of his ass into a 15-yard pass. And anytime he tried to drive a ball on the field, we saw what happened. It was either broken up, woefully just a duck that got intercepted. It was terrible. And yeah, man, I posted a video on Instagram. It was funny. And Hussein, maybe you heard the same thing at the game. Hearing Jet fans before the game, during the game, at the beginning of the game, all Mike White, Mike White, Mike White, Mike effing White, Mike fucking White, the whole time. After about the third pick, it's all of a sudden, and that was like what, beginning of the third quarter. You think Zach Wilson's gonna be ready this week? I've never seen it at concerts because I haven't been to one in a really long time, man. But at the you're trying to watch a game and it's just like, yo, I did not pay to watch the back of your head. Um, it was a great experience. I did go to the team hotel last night. They stayed here in Jersey City. A lot of NFL teams stay here in Jersey City, only about 8 minutes with no traffic from where I live. Um, Jake, I was hitting him up with some videos. Um, I saw a certain somebody who got put on the COVID list last night walking around. The leanest 300-pound man I've ever seen in my life. You don't have an appreciation for how big these dudes are. What's up, Shady? How big these dudes are until you see them in person. These are just massive dudes. Like I even saw the wide receiver group. The only normal size looking human being I saw was Isaiah McKenzie. Gabe Davis is a big dude, like thick. I don't want to hear that we don't have big wide receivers. He was standing next to Isaiah Hodges. He's a big, like they're both big dudes. Shady's not a small dude at all. I saw Zach Moss. Mitch Morris is a fucking behemoth. Saw Deion Dawkins, and that hold was trash. It had no impact on the play on the drop, the Josh Allen scramble. Could have led to another touchdown, but it got, it fucked us up there. And we sputtered a little bit on a few possessions. And then once we got that touchdown before the half and went into the half 17-3 and then scored. I mean, it was all runs. That whole drive out of the half was all running plays. Obviously the reverse to Emmanuel Sanders was the big one. And then once we punched it in, it was boom, gone. And Davis got involved. It was kind of getting back to what the Bills did last year. You know, a lot of digs. Davis with big plays. Um, a, a McKenzie jet sweep for a touchdown, which we've been waiting to see. You know, a lot of our bread and butter. Um, Diggs got open on a deep post, and then he got open on the craziest, quickest stutter step I've ever seen. It was like he didn't even break stride. It was insane. And I remember this Bills fan passed me. I guess he had stepped away, and he's like, "How the fuck did we get all the way down there?" It was like Diggs just caught like a 58-yard pass, and Breida was great. Breida, you know what really sucks is he fumbles that ball, and it's just like, damn, you can't fumble that ball, man. It was barely you got hit from behind, but it was more of a love tap. Even Motor fumbled on a toss sweep, and he didn't even get touched. The ball just bounced out of his hands. I like Breida because he reminds me of what Hines does for the Colts. You know, on that wheel route that he caught the touchdown on. It's a screen, and then he just carries it upfield, and he's just so fast, and he just snuck behind, and it was just wide open there. I originally thought Emmanuel Sanders caught it because they were in the same area, and it ended up being Breida. But it was a really, really good day. You saw the difference in caliber of quarterbacks. I mean, it was palpable. Like the ball just flies out of Josh Allen's hands. My girl was sitting next to me, and she even said, and she doesn't watch football. She went because of me. She really had a great time. She said, "Wow, why is the quarterback for the Bills so much better than the Jets quarterback?" I was like, because he is. Yeah, man. I have a little bit of a scratchy voice, Hussein, but uh, yeah, yeah, man. Thanks for bringing that up, Rick Brizzle. I mean, was it 5 turnovers, 4 interceptions? Klein should have had one second play of the game. Second play of the game. I think the only thing that kept him from picking it was, yeah, Damager. 50, ask Hussein. 50-50 Bills fans. Tell me I'm not being a homer, Hussein. 50-50, 50-50, 50-50 Bills Jets fans. There was a lot of red, and what red, white, and blue in the stadium, man. A lot. There was a lot. I think it was pretty. And the Jets fans, after the Bills, like some left once the Bills went up. Once they some left, a few left when we went up 24-3. A lot started to leave once they jumped up 31-3. It was pretty much over. Yeah, it was Bills fans off the Goncho. You heard the shouts, the shout chant. You could hear it. The Jet, I mean, outside of the audio, they were pumping in a lot of noise for the Jets. They kind of got the Bronx cheer once they scored a late friends and family touchdown, which was it was annoying because you kind of get greedy. You want them to keep as little, but the Bills really put a lot of their backups in, especially in the secondary. It was nice to see all the interceptions. Our DBs are really once they're getting their hands on balls, they're not letting them go. I mean, the first one was a tip, but still, Taryn pulls it in. Levi is just such a professional. How many times have we come in this room and tried to replace him, tried to find a better? And the guy is just such a steady, calm, cool, collected guy. He has a bad game, he bounces back, and that just speaks to the team. They had a bad game collectively, and they just bounced back collectively. The defense did what it does, and the offense found its rhythm, particularly at the end of the first half, and carried it into the second half, which was you kill the game. You really kill the game. That was the key 8 minutes of the game that just really ended it. Really ended it for the any chance the Jets thought that they might have had really came on that Davis fumble right before the half, where Hyde ended up coming down with it. It was really, really nice to see. Um, I don't know if can you tell me, Hussein, if you saw it better in the stadium? Anybody who was watching the TV, I recorded the game. Couldn't watch it back. I thought the Josh Allen interception hit the ground. I thought it hit the ground. They said he got his hands under it. The stadium was terrible, terrible at replays. What's up, Matt? How you doing, bro? It's all good, bro. How you doing? It was a great win today. A great win. I'm trying to send somebody a link to the feed, but I'm like butterfingering it up today. Sorry about this, guys. Um, you should have, bro. It was a great time. It was a great time. Like Hussein said, it was. We really at the end of the game really took over. Yeah, the stadium didn't show that replay. It didn't show a lot of replays. It wasn't just me. I'm sitting there waiting for a replay of turnover, and it was nothing. And the flags. Oh my God. Thankfully, a few bit the Bills. There was a fourth down stop that the Jets ended up scoring a touchdown on. I believe it was their first one. It was just like a mercy flag. It was it was like on a 4th and 17. It was ridiculous defensive holding. It was like, and I didn't. I mean, again, no replays were shown. It was just terrible. Terrible. I don't know. I don't think they want to show replays for fear that they might look incompetent. Maybe that's what it is. They don't want to show replays because they look incompetent on these replays. It's like, why did you throw that flag? Did that ball hit the ground? I don't know. Can anybody tell me if that ball hit the ground or not? Because I thought it did. I was waiting, but from my vantage point, I could not see. I was getting greedy. I wanted to put up a 50 burger, but that wasn't to be. 45, I mean, in a bounce back win is huge. But we also have to take a step back as a fan base and just look around what happened in this league this week. I mean, a Dolphins team that we handled pretty well both times goes and beats Baltimore. They beat Baltimore. They totally stymie Lamar Jackson. He could do nothing against them. Even the touchdown drive that they got late was aided by some questionable penalties. Very questionable. One of the roughing the passers was a chest bump. The driving in the ground was a 50-50. There was a pass interference that was suspect. Yeah, I mean, they were friends and family damager, but it was just I didn't want to give up. I didn't want to give up, but they did, but thankfully we had 45 on the board. Um, yeah, that's what I was gonna say. There was no jet noise. There was no jet noise. It was all like funneled in from the speaker system. I could tell because I'm like, the Jet fans aren't making any noise. I'm looking at them on both sides, the few that were there. Well, there was a lot of Bills fans. Again, 50-50. I was like, they're not making noise. The one dude that was sitting next to us, Jet fan, didn't say a word the whole game. He sat there like this the whole time. He did not change expression. He didn't react to anything. And they got up and left once it was like 38-3. He got up and left with his wife. They just got up and left like it was just like they were sitting at the park for 3 hours. It was funny. I was like, I even said to I said to Melanie, I was like, yo, this guy is like a statue. He hasn't changed. He's numb. He's comfortably numb to this. He just expected this. Yeah, but they were the Jet fans I interacted with were nice for the most part. They were nice. Not a bad experience. You know what it's like when you don't have a quarterback or you don't know if you don't have an answer. It's just like you're in nowhere land. But they've got issues, man. I think this is the fourth game in a row, and the one by the grace of God, they came back and won 34-31 against the Bengals. But it was like they gave up a 50 burger to the Patriots. They gave up 31 in a game that they had to come back from 2 10-point deficits to the Bengals. They won that one, and then the Colts put 45 on them. They came off a mini bye. They had played last Thursday night, and then they give up 45 to the Bills this week. Yeah, man, it got pretty brick out there because that's why I had all my Under Armour shit on, and I only had a small hoodie and a tracksuit on because I'm like, this Under Armour ski suit is gonna keep me warm the whole time. and I had like thermal socks on. I was good. My girl was like, "Yo, you got to get me one of those suits, motherfucker." She was pissed. She's like, "Yo, you better buy me one of those suits because she gets cold easy." But yeah, Allen was really attacking. He was pushing the ball downfield, and you saw the Jets. They had to start backing up. Their DBs started to back up, but even then, the Bills were getting over the top of their DBs. I don't know if they're just not fast enough, or their scheme is flawed, or they're just not good at it. But they just look like they're just not playing the game fast out there. But what I was gonna say, like you see Baltimore lose to the Dolphins, who the Bills beat. You see Washington beat the defending Super Bowl champions, Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and that's a team the Bills beat. The Jaguars almost pulled it out again. They played a tough. The Colts played a hard game and won, but still they had a chance to pull it out at the end. They lost. Um, the Chargers losing at home to the up and down Minnesota Vikings, and it just laugh. You hear all the love affair the media had after those all so altruistic, poetic quotes that Brandon Staley had in his press conference like of over a month ago. His defense sucks. They can't stop the run. They can't tackle. They can't hold a lead. Remember the anointing oil for Justin Herbert? I'm not saying he played bad today, but he didn't play great at all. I got a chance to watch a lot of that game. I'm sure most of you got a chance to watch a lot of that game. I don't have all the stats in front of me right now, but yeah, he was, what was he? He was average at best. He 20 for 30, 194 yards, one touchdown, one interception. He was terrible today. He got outplayed by Kirk Cousins. He got outplayed by Kirk Cousins. But remember the narrative over a month ago? He's the best quarterback. He's the best quarterback. He's the one that's challenging Patrick Mahomes. I'm sorry. I'm going to be a homer again. We have the best quarterback in the AFC. We have the best quarterback in the AFC. We do. I believe that 100%. We have the best quarterback in the AFC. Crazy stuff happened today. Was it last night? Roethlisberger gets put on the C-19 list. He misses the game. Rudolph has to start. They tie with the Lions at home. It was just a crazy, crazy day. The Lions keep winning. The Titans keep winning, but they're winning. Is it sustainable? Is it sustainable? Can they keep it up? Can they? It's they're winning very, very, nip and tuck. And I'm not saying you're not going to blow everybody out in this league. They're battle tested, but ultimately they're going to have to come from behind. They're not going to be leading in a lot of these games. They played a team that was led by Trevor Siemian today, and let's be honest, Trevor Siemian has toiled around this league ever since he was let go by the Broncos in 2017. He was their start. He was and he's been on practice squads. He's been released multiple times. Should we be concerned about New England? New England, to me, if you I DVR'd their game also on the damn ticket, and again, Cleveland, I will tell you this. This is what Cleveland did. Cleveland played like the Bills did last week against the Jaguars. Only thing was New England relentlessly, because it's the Browns and because of what happens, and it's not Art Modell. But it's still the city of Cleveland. It's what the media did to Belichick there while he was there. And for a lot of you who are older, no, he's a vindictive like fuck who holds a grudge. Go watch the Bill Belichick at Football Life Cleveland Browns, that version. I don't know if it came out before or after the one they did for him with the Patriots. Um, but they, he was after that. It was just a mess. It ended. It started ugly, and it ended ugly. And the team relocated. And he does that. He does it to the Jets. He found a way to rub it in their face and just burn them out. And he runs up the score. That's what he does. That's the Patriot way. They run up the score. A lot of Cleveland plays with no, and what's crazy? Cleveland has, if you look at their roster, the high draft picks, the offensive linemen, two top 10 offensive linemen at tackle, two of the highest paid guards in the NFL in Batonio and Teller, a very high paid center, the highest paid tight end in the league in Austin Hooper, a first overall pick at quarterback. Granted, they didn't have, but you're telling me without Nick Chubb, they have Jarvis Landry. That was pretty much the same wide receiver core they went to the playoffs last year because they don't have OBJ. Their defense has a top 4 corner, Denzel Ward, a premier pass rusher in Clowney. I'm sorry, in Garrett. Clowney's there. Their defense just they're trash. They play with no heart. Their scheme sucks, apparently. They're the type of team, if you punch them in the mouth, they fold like a cheap suit. And their coach is not Sean McDermott. She should not have won NFL head coach of the year last year. That was just a gift to Cleveland. You've been through a lot of suffering. You made it. You beat the Steelers a few times. You made it to the playoffs. That you get that, but terrible. Oh, he was a healthy scratch. Wow, very strange. Very strange. I don't. They do things weirdly there, so I'm not going to question it. I didn't know that, Eric. Thanks for telling me that, bro. That's why you guys run the room, and I just kind of run my mouth. Seriously, just a bunch of word salad. But getting back to the Bills, we saw, a lot of craziness happen, and maybe that was the bitch slap wake up call that they needed. That it's not a water faucet. You just can't turn it on and off whenever you want. It's got to stay. It's got to be steady 24/7, 365. Every time you get out, at least every time you get out there on the football field on Sundays, you can't just turn it on and off. It's not, that doesn't work like that. But, Herbert, how much is that shine worn off? Let's see what Mahomes does against the Raiders tonight and what the Raiders do against the Chiefs. That's going to be an interesting game. I don't know who we want to win that game. If anybody can tell me better who we should be rooting for, let me know. Juice Smith, they paid him a lot of money. It was a lot of dink and dunk in that game. I haven't been able to watch like I normally did because Hussein, you got back home already, bro. Obviously. I mean, there was a lot of traffic coming back from the stadium, but I have 10,000 different shortcuts I know to get back to Jersey City. So I got back in like 35 minutes. Yeah, a lot of under center, a lot of hard play action. Yeah, I liked it too. And the run game, you know what it is? The offensive linemen can fire off the ball in the run game better. They didn't. It took them a while to give up, to get going, to have steam. Yeah, that's true. Good point. Eric says the Chiefs because we hold a tiebreaker. But wouldn't you like them to get buried a little bit, though? Wouldn't you just like them to take a division loss and just completely bury them? Because the Raiders don't scare me. They don't scare me. Mike White, Trevor. That's right. Mike White got home in like an hour and a half. Okay, yeah, traffic was. I saw the traffic going into the city, and it was like, who's ever in that? I want no part of it. Yeah, the offensive line, it didn't start off well, but how much of a difference does Spencer Brown make? And I'm not tooting my own horn. Am I right or am I wrong that he's not the future left tackle of this team? I mean, if we get to training camp next year and that's where this man is lining up, I am going to give myself the ultimate hand job because he plays with such an edge. He had a few nasty pancake blocks today. One of which was on former Bill Shaq Lawson. He blasted him. Really blasted him. Was at the game, Trevor. Yeah, I went to the game. It was good. Yeah, it was pretty nasty. I got to see the clip. He just he plays with an edge, and you saw it. Like I was watching him specifically because I wanted to see what he brought, and you could see him jawing with defenders after plays. You could see him letting them hear it, especially after some success. That drive to come out of the half, the Bills ran the ball. They had a few like 10-plus yard carries. I know Motor had a long one. Obviously, Sanders had the long the long reverse. Really just kept the Jets off balance. They really didn't know which end was up. Um, I remember former Bills beat writer thought that the Jets were going to give the Bills problems. Said that and he harkened back to a game opener of 2019 when the Bills were down, and he said when Mosley left the game, that changed the whole game. And he was talking about that stuff, and I'm thinking to myself, dude, that was 2.5 years ago. How are you trying to translate 2.5 years ago in the NFL is a lifetime, a lifetime. Like, what are you talking about? Like, and this is a guy who's been injured a lot. He hasn't played. Like, he's not the same guy that used to play for Baltimore. He's barely played for the Jets. Like, what are you talking about? Seattle gets shut out against the Packers in Green Bay. Just crazy. Russ throws two terrible interceptions. Apparently DK Metcalf tried to sneak in to the game after being ejected. Oh, that's nice of you, bro. Yeah, he's a really nice dude, man. Gives away tickets and just does his thing. And that's what I'll say. Like that's why I like this room. I like Bill's Twitter. No matter what other things we disagree on in life, whether it's religion, politics, we all still treat each other very well, and we rise above all that other bullshit that tries to separate us in life nowadays. And this is the thing that brings us together, the glue that binds us, and that's why I always love sports, and I love the Bills because of things like this. Really nice dude, that guy. I'll always remember his call to Sal after they broke the drought. They ended the drought. He was a mess. Yeah, I love it. Yeah, that's what we need, damager. A damager. We need that on off. And you hope once Feliciano comes back, maybe he puts on, eat some steaks, eat some potatoes, put about 10 of those pounds that you lost back on, make sure that calf's healed up. And if you get those two guys going with some edge, you might have something. You might have something because they're clearly better with Darrell Williams inside at guard. Cody Ford not being on the field is a benefit. I will say Bucker held his own today. He was not a liability. He was not an issue, which was good. Oh, that's funny. That's funny. Yeah, Sal's a great guy. Sal's a really nice dude. Appreciate Sal. He's a nice guy. I heard about something like people said he needed anger management or something like that. No, he doesn't like to be called a liar. He hates that shit. And I don't know anybody who does, who likes to be called a liar or say that they make things up. Like he's a Bills fan and people get on him for that. But so what? He's a Bills fan. The guy who called the game today for the Bills because John Murphy was out, he called it on the radio. Paul Dottino. He has covered the Giants forever, like since probably a lot of us, some of the older ones in here were little boys back in the early '80s. He started, but he was a Giants fan his whole life. The guy is a huge Giants homer, but a sweet dude, nice guy, easy to talk to. I've had the chance to talk to him a few times. Really, really nice guy. I don't know how he did calling the Bills today. I'm sure he was great, but he's a really nice guy. So, and he thought Josh Allen was going to be the best quarterback coming out in 18. Hated Darnold. Thought he was going to be trash, and he was right. I put up that clip a lot on Sal Mayorana. I think he is. He's also a Cubs and a Yankees fan. How do you root for two teams in one sport? I do not know. I don't like that. Oh, I have it. It'd be like me. How would you guys feel about me? Right? I've been a Bills fan, and that's the only fan I am. But if all of a sudden I said, you know what? I really actually also root for the pick a random NFC team. I root for them too. I'm a fan of them. Doesn't my credibility kind of like go down? Like it kind of let you can't do that. You can't do that. You can't do that shit. I'm sorry. That's just no. Nope, you can't. No. I don't like that shit. I don't that shit don't fly with me. I'm like, no, 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 no. Another thing, can we get away? I heard this was a tweet from something or a poll on Twitter. No more white on blue, white, all white, everything on the road or at home, all white, everything. If you want to do blue on white, that's great too. If you want to do blue on blue, that's fine too. I don't like it as much as blue on white, but no more white on blue. I fucking hate that uniform combo, and we always lose in miserable ways in it. We Tennessee, fucking Jaguars, Texans playoffs, AFC Championship game against the Chiefs. No more fucking white on blue, please. How do you do that, Eric? How do you do that? Like that to me, like you root for the Giants and the Jet. Like what? And I know Giants and Jet fans, and collectively, most of them are true Giants and Jet fans because they don't like the other fan base. They fucking hate each other. They hate them. It's just bad, man. Bad damager. Just get rid of it. Okay, how about this? The Bills will always be my number one first love. And my 1A, my one beef, whoever beats the Patriots and the Cowboys, that's who I like. Could be anybody. It could be the bad news fucking Bears or the Washington Generals. You beat one of those teams, I like you. Oh, Trevor, it was rough watch today, man. He can hit a few passes in the intermediate area, but when he had to drive the ball downfield, down in distance, or he wanted to take a shot, like once the score got a little crazy, it was up. Bills were up 24-3. He tried to drive a ball downfield. It was a double coverage, and Trey just picked it off. It was just a duck. It was doomed from inception. Yeah, just anybody who beats those two teams, man. Anybody who beats those two teams. But it was a great day. The running game was good, but it was weird good. It was not one guy, you know, going the whole way. It's just you can't be putting balls in the ground. And Motor um, was able to recover his fumble. Breida, that you can't do that, man. It's like you can't give them life. You just can't. Especially, I think they fumbled after. No, that was the Josh interception. I still have to go back and watch and see if it hit the ground. It was really really annoying. The second pass of the day, Trevor, Klein. I think the only thing that kept him from intercepting it is that he was running and he had to sort of reach back like this, and the ball just kind of went off his hands, but it was in his hands. Like he had it. Klein played tremendous today, very good against the run. I didn't think they would really miss a beat because he's been in that scheme for so long in Carolina and now in Buffalo his second year, and he's much better suited athletically to play the middle, the Mike. And he's a veteran, and you still let Milano run around free. Tremendous cover in the flats and screens today. He was like a heat-seeking missile. They tried to work some stuff to Carter. They got a couple of things late when the Bills backed off a little bit, but when they had to make hay, when they Bills really wanted to put the clamps on, he couldn't do fuck all. Couldn't do fuck all. There was a couple of times the Bills almost got home. Was it me or every time the Bills got home on Mike White or got a hit on Mike White, there was a goddamn penalty? Oh, it was unnecessary roughness. It was a sack. It was so an unnecessary roughness is a sack. They knocked him out of the game. He could have came back in, but they threw up the white flag. They kept Flacco in. But the two best balls that were thrown by Jets quarterbacks today were by Flacco. The the um the two passes to Elijah Moore. So yeah, Hyde made an incredible play, forcing the fumble, getting the fumble recovery. Poyer had a pick late, really nice. I mean, like I said, best safety tandem in the league. I don't want to hear different. These guys are just tremendous pros. They're veterans, and they just seem to, as they've played together for what they're this is their fifth season together. They're like peanut butter and jelly back there. They just really know how to play off of each other, and they make the whole secondary just calm, so calm. Like, and they're just it's rare because you think about it. This unit has played together since starting once the whole catastrophe ended with Vontae Davis and remember the three pass interferences on Phillip Gaines in Houston. The game Josh Allen got hurt. They released him, and then Levi Wallace got the call up. Taron was playing injured, had a bad shoulder, played most of the season, but ended up finishing in IR. So they've played together for 4.5 seasons, about like 3.5 seasons. So they've really, this unit has been together. They know each other like the back of each other's hand, and they just look at the results. You need to play defense in this league. You have to have a secondary like this. Otherwise, it's really hard to win games. And it was the one thing that gave me confidence today. It was like, this is a veteran group. Their pride has been hurt. They've been challenged nationally, locally, from a fan base, from a media, their coach. They have to rebound in a big way, and they did. Yeah, Klein was great, Eric. He was great. Watching him on the field, Josh really just he played great, very efficient, drove the ball down the field, and you saw him under center really threw a defense off. Is like is he because a lot of times there was tackle eligible plays he ended up throwing, and they were only 2-man routes, literally 2-man routes. I think one of the deep balls was just I think it was the deep post to Diggs. It was a 2-man route. Everybody else stayed into block, so they were just really thrown off by that. But him under center and them occasionally in shotgun, just mixing that in because he's big and he was the guy in 2018. I don't know if you remember the stat. He had played the most under center in college, and I think there was this crazy stat where Baker Mayfield had only ever taken one snap from under center in college. It was crazy, which is so. I mean, for us older heads who watched football back in the day, shit, the quarterback was under center like 65-75% of the time. You were only in shotgun when you had to like come from behind, and it was very rare. Very rare. Only the run and shoot teams. They were called run and shoot. Four wide receivers. Houston predominantly with Kevin Gilbride and Warren Moon and June Jones in Atlanta. They had a bunch of quarterbacks like they had Chris Miller, Jeff George, um, and they just ran a run and shoot. Four wide receivers. What's up, Shredded Wheat? How you doing, bro? Yeah, man, it was definitely fun, bro. Definitely fun. Yeah, Breida was good, man. He was fast, dude. You could tell there was that one run that he hit, and it's when you're panoramically watching the game like down like that, it was hard to see his number. I was like, that couldn't have been Motor because or Moss because he was too fast. Yeah, Breida definitely needs to stay up, and if that's at the expense of one of the other running backs, so be it. I was actually shocked they went because that's a bit of a luxury when you can go five deep on the running backs. But you know what? They were hell bent on getting that shit going today. Hell bent. Yeah, Davis. I will say I saw again. I went to the T Motel last night and I saw these guys in the flesh, like in regular street clothes, like no pads, no helmets, just dudes. These are some big motherfuckers. Like these men are not normal men. These aren't normal men. These are like I saw Mitch Morse, like his calves are like this. I was like, And I was telling my girlfriend they were doing the warm ups in the end zone, the far end zone. You know, Josh was taking snaps from under center. The offensive line was just getting themselves going on snap counts and stuff like that. Typical pregame warm up. And I was zooming in with my phone camera, and I was asking her to, you know, because she has better eyes than me, and she was telling me the numbers. And I was like, you realize all those guys right there are over 300 pounds? And she's like, what? I was like, yeah, it's because they're so displaced athletically, their weight. Like Deion Dawkins, if you see him in person, he's a thick, just big dude. But the tallest, biggest dude I saw was probably Morse. Morse. And then I saw AJ Epinesa a couple of times, and he was with Boogie Basham the first time. You know, just tall and long. Boogie's a big dude, thick dude. And Gabe Davis is a big guy. I mean, in the red zone, that guy needs to be on the field. He needs to be on the field, Andy, because he's a big dude. So does Breida. Breida's fast. You know, he's like what's that guy? I don't know his first name. Neum Hines for the great receiving back that the Colts have, whom we'll see next week. He's like him. He just catches one cut and go running back, and I like that downhill. No dancing, no herky jerky. You're not Barry fucking Sanders. Just hit the hole. Either hit the hole or find your cutback lane and go. So don't sit there juking around. None of you guys are good enough. The offensive line is solid enough, but it's not the Dallas 03, 02, 92, 93 offensive line. It's not that. But it's a really, you know, how much better is the week, guys? How much better is the week? How much better is the food going to taste? How much better the sleep? How much better a night's sleep you going to get? God, horrible to listen to sports radio after a game like that with the Bills. Can't watch none of the shows. You know the kind of bullshit you're gonna we had to listen to and hear. But this week, you know, thank you. I couldn't have outside of getting a blowout and laying a. I mean, we did get a blowout. Outside of not, you know, basically putting a donut up on defense and putting up a 50 burger, which we damn near did. They damn near did. It was a perfect comeback game, and it was everything that we thought. You know, get right game. It was the get right game, and the Jets knew that. They knew that the Bills were in a bad place mentally. They had a long week. They're gonna be extra motivated. They're gonna still see us as a get right game. Let's not give them that at home. And the Bills still went and did it, and there was nothing the Jets could do about it. Nothing. I remember there was one. I think it was the Davis catch. They actually still got cost pass interference on. And I know the two Jet DBs were just like, they just threw up their hands. They were just like, what the fuck can we do? We can't do anything. Like, we can't stop these guys. Next year's let's group. Yeah, it would be nice, man. It would be nice. I mean, I'm sure it's crazy. I Damager, I saw him. I'll send you the video. That's a good idea, Hussein. I'll start saving for that actually. I saw he got up, walked off the field. I watched him with my own two eyes for multiple minutes. He walked around the sidelines. He was moving around. You know, granted, he's just walking on the sideline. He had his helmet. So he had his helmet. He looked, you know, he was not being looked at by the trainers, attended to. And I was nervous because I don't know if you guys remember this. Was it last season? The San Francisco 49ers and another team filed a big complaint. I think it was against the Jets and maybe one against the Giants where they had a rash of injuries. I know the 49ers lost Bosa to a torn ACL. They said it was because of the turf. I know Kittle got injured, hurt, maybe because it was the turf. So I was very, very nervous, very, very nervous. So I was just hoping, like, look, don't have any crazy shit happen because of this turf. And I know there was a lot of bodies in there, but he looked to be, you know, sorry for the long-winded thing, but he looked fine. Outside of anything, I don't think the Bills had any injuries today at all. I didn't see anybody injured outside of him, slow to get off. Just the whole thing with Starr before the game, which was crazy because I saw that man with my own two eyes. I can hold my grandmother's ashes. that are right here. I saw Star Latulele at the outside the team hotel last night with four other defensive linemen, one of which who became active because he was deactivated today. I had to go look at his picture, but I know that was Bryant. I was like, okay, that's Bryant, the Dreads. The other guy was Mario Addison, and I believe I want to say the other one was Vernon Butler, but that was them. And I mean, Star sticks out. I mean, long haired Hawaiian Samoan looking dude. He had a red hoodie on. Leanest 300-pound man I've ever seen in my life, ever. And I know I've said that. I was like, that's the most displaced 300 pounds I've ever seen. I sound like, no homo, if I can say that on here. I don't want to get the platform for saying no homo, but it's insane. Yeah, it had me a little concerned, because the Jets, maybe they wanted to play ugly, but they're not a very physical team. They're not a grimy team. They kind of just have to play how, they just kind of have to play a game and see how it unfolds. They don't really have a set style yet. They're kind of a dink and dunk offense. Occasionally they can get a chunk play, very occasionally. But outside of that, they played well. Hopefully he's fine. Hopefully his tests are negative and he comes back and plays next week, because they're going to need him against that Colts team. That Colts team has a legitimate offensive line. They have a legitimate running back, and they have a solid quarterback, and they have decent weapons. So they're going to need all hands on deck. Yeah. If he's been, I believe if he's been quote unquote jabbed, he just needs I think one negative or something like that. I have to read the rules again. I kind of peruse them. I think that was in the case of Rodgers where it was like playing it close to the vest. But I think it's just because I believe he's been jabbed. I think he has, and I think it's just he needs one negative, and then there's a little wait period, and then there's another test, and then that if he clears that one, he's good to go. So the same thing happened with John Murphy. The same thing happened with him. It was just I believe it was so close to the game. He's not a player either, but he's always around the team. So they're like, nah, you have to stay back home. And he's an old guy and he's fucking overweight. He's got a great voice on the radio and everything, but John Murphy is overweight, and that's the kind of people it hurts. Guys like him, older people that are overweight. Yeah, next week's going to be a dogfight, man. I think that was in the case of Rodgers, but I think it's 10 days, but we'll see. We'll see. Hopefully that's not the case. But I'm pretty sure from what I understand he has been. I'll have to ask again. Because remember, he was one of the guys who opted out. And if you opt out and all of a sudden come back and say, well, I don't want it, it kind of looks like, well, you didn't want it, but you opted out. But, to each his own. I don't care. You do it, you don't, you don't. That's you're fine with me. You're good in my book. Everybody has their own choices. But I'm hoping he's back. Hope he's back. Hope he's good to go. If he's out of practice, Thursday, Friday, I think we'll be solid. He gets activated on Saturday, so we have some time. But today overall, F.A. Obata played great. Maybe he's because Brandon Bryant was deactivated. He didn't even play. So maybe it's Basham or Obata. I tend to think it would have been Obata. Obata played great. I believe he tipped the pass that ended up getting intercepted by Taron Johnson. I believe it was Obata. Long guy, rangy hands. I believe he got our only sack. He actually registered the Bills' only sack was F.A. Obata. Yeah, he was good. Played physical. He played inside. He played outside. A lot more inside than outside. I know there was another hit on a quarterback. I know Ruseo crushed Mike White. Like he got a chance he fucking laced him. I don't know if that was the one that knocked White out of the game, but there was one where he laced him and he was like, he was questioning whether he wanted to keep playing. What's up, Victor? How you doing, bro? Yeah, man, I'm sorry to hear that, bro. That's a shame. You never want to hear about anybody dying, but I know, not to talk about that topic too much because it's YouTube has all these policies now and all these things, and they'll review the content, and they'll start, they'll say that you said something that was anti this or this, and they'll basically strike your channel, and they'll put you in timeout for 7 days. So it's not I don't want to do that. Like, I don't want to have that happen. But yeah, my condolences to you, man. In any instance somebody loses somebody that I know or has, given me their time, it's a brutal thing. It takes the air out of your life, and it's very, very hard to regain. I mean, you lose it in buckets, but you barely get it back in raindrops. Yeah. To get back to the game, I saw it and I thought it was a sack. Was it a sack? And then they said unnecessary roughness. I'm like, how is that how is it unnecessary roughness when it's a sack? Did he throw the ball away? I didn't see the ball come out of his hands. I know he left the game. Definitely is, Victor, a game changer, especially for the older people. For guys in their late, for men it seems like, but just women and men that are in their, upper 60s and 70s, they just get sick. I remember when my grandmother was in a nursing home, for example, like she needed to rehab. She broke her nose. She fell. They put her in a nursing home because she fell in the hospital and broke, I believe, her arm, broke her forearm, and she had to rehab it. And they told us, they were like, look, she's probably going to get sick in here. Just, we're letting you know she's going to get sick. She's probably going to, catch a flu or something. And I'm like, they're like, okay. And then sure than shit, 3 days later, they said, oh yeah, Claudette has a pneumonia, and she has, I don't know, she had a UTI or something feminine. And I was like, what the fuck? Like, and she was really fucked up. They had her on the drip IV and everything. She's an old lady with a bad heart. She was in really bad shape. I remember that. Her arm is all in a sling. The woman couldn't catch a break, man, in her old age. She really couldn't. But she smoked all of her life. It was really sucks. Thanks, bro. Claudette Rochelle. It's an old name. You don't hear names like that no more. You don't hear names like that no more. I appreciate that though, Victor. But hopefully the game today, lended you some comfort, even for a brief period of time, a brief period of time, um, because I know what that stuff can do. I tend to, you know, I've had a lot of loss in life, unfortunately, but everybody reacts to it differently. But hopefully the game gave you something today, because it was a good one, especially after last week. It was terrible. Last week was terrible for all of us. It really just gutted us, left us doubting everything, questioning everything. Is this team for real? Are they not for real? Um, yeah, man, that's what makes the room special, man. That's why, like I was saying before, like, I open the room, I run my mouth, but you guys run the room. Like, that's it. You guys run the room. Like last week, we had some trolls in the room who wanted to come here and troll and blah 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 blah, and you guys got rid of them, nice and easy. No incidents, no bullshit. You just kind of flushed them out of the room, nice and easy. What's up, Tom? How you doing, bro? Yeah, last week's game was just miserable. It just fucks up the whole week. Like, it really does. It's amazing that, yeah, Jake, he was excellent, and I noticed that right away. I would like to go back and watch the game again, and count how many snaps he was under center as opposed to shotgun. Granted, shotgun's going to be a component of the offense, but under center, it just gives the defense so much of a different look. Yeah, man, I was like, I was just numb, uncomfortably numb, not comfortable. I was uncomfortably numb. I don't know if it made me question the NFL. It made me question, like, how could they go do that? How could they go and just sleepwalk through the game and just not put a yeoman's effort up against a team that you clearly better than. It's like Seattle goes and beats that team easily. Granted, a different caliber opponent, better opponent, but they go to Green Bay, they can't even score a point. They can't even score a point with Russell Wilson back. Make that make sense. And be that as it may, Jacksonville almost beat the Bengals early, and they gave the Colts a hell of a game today. A hell of a game. The Colts had to like fight them towards the end. They were trying to win that game. They almost had a chance to pull it out. Yeah, man. I had like, what it is after a game like that, there's two things. You want them to play tomorrow. It's like, can they just go play tomorrow? Can they just fucking play the next game tomorrow so I don't have to feel like this all week? And then there's that whole like fuck. Like, can we just replay Sunday? can we run that back, somehow, some way? It's this myriad of fucked upness. Like, it just makes you ill. Like, ill. Like, can we, you can't unsee it. Like, I keep, and all we heard all week on fucking cue, we knew it was gonna come. Josh Allen on Josh Allen crime. Josh Allen does this to Josh Allen, just that, all everything and everything. Yeah, man, it was terrible. Who's saying they just Tyler Dunn put out a quote, a tweet, and there was it was the roughing the passer in the in the Baltimore game, right? It was the Baltimore game, and he said it's calls like that that make you question if the mob got to the refs. And I was like, what he said. I paraphrase. That wasn't the exact one. Let me get to some of that. Yeah, Jake, they were fine, bro. They were cool. They were fine. It was a couple of Bills fans that kept standing up in front of me. And they were sloshed. They were shit faced. They were completely inebriated. Like, they could not. They could barely. They were just all over themselves. I had to ask them to sit down because, and I was just like, dude, like, I'm not being a dick. I didn't pay to watch the back of your head. Sit down, please. I'm saying it nicely. They sat down. They sat down. And then he made a smart comment to his friend, and I'm like, "No, they're winning by a lot of points. You can stay standing. It's all good though." Like, I'm not gonna stay shut. I'm too fucking ghetto. Like, they don't want to get that shit out of me. But all in all, fans were fine. Fans, there was a lot of beer, man. There was a lot of alcohol. I don't know. You guys been to Buffalo? I'm sure there's a lot more fucking alcohol than that up there. I don't know how people watch the games because they must be like, I don't know how they get home safe. Like, how do they get home safe? Hopefully, they're taking like Ubers and they have drivers, you know, designated D&Ds, because that insane amount of alcohol that I saw. Like, that's all I smelled around me. Walking, or that it was. But that's what happens in NFL football. Why are we in 2021 and we can't put a microchip in the? Yeah, it's, I guess, to do that to the footballs, and then maybe what happens if the football gets fucking hit hard and the microchip malfunctions, and some dumb shit. It's like the eye test, though. You can see it's not hard. And then what really makes it crazy is these slow replays, these H4K hyper slow, all different angle replays that lead to you can see all the errors, and then you can question, and then you see the refs make these calls, particularly some of the roughing the passer, and the calls, like the call on Deion Dawkins was a shit call. It was a hold away from the play. Supposedly, it was a play that you see by an offensive lineman pretty much on every play. Josh ran to the totally opposite side. The guy he held could have done nothing to the play. Absolutely nothing. Could not have impacted the play in any way, shape, or form. And they gave them a. They potentially took a touchdown away from the Bills. And how do you leave Travis Kelce wide open like that? Jesus Christ. That fucking guy. Oh, he just did the fucking ravishing Rick Rude hip sway. Son of a bitch. I usually watch urinating tree. I could not even do that. Uh, yeah, Shaq looked like he was he's liked he's a guy you could see come play for the Bills again on a 1 year deal as a reserve player. He's never going to be a starter, as Doug Whaley famously said about him and two other guys, Adolphus Washington, Reggie Ragland. Day one starters off the bus. Remember that? Day one starters off the bus. One is out of the league. The other is a backup defensive end who's been on four different teams in as many years. Shaq, and then Reggie Ragland has been on, yeah, four different teams in the same amount of years. That's the kind of, and then we saw the Sammy Watkins experience on Thursday night. Generational Sammy Watkins, the guy the Bills traded up for 2 first-round picks, a 4th-round pick. The terrible fumble return for a touchdown off of a catch, and then he didn't know where the ball was in the end zone, and he just alligator arms it. It was just, I was like, there's Sammy Watkins. That's why he's been on how many teams? How many teams has he been on? Bills, Rams, Chiefs, Ravens. 4. Bad guys travel. Not bad guys who aren't consistent, guys you can't rely upon, guys who have a limited skill set are the travelers. They're the guys who move around. Oh, replay should be only in real time, no slow mo, because it's easy to go slow mo shit and say, oh, I missed that. Okay, it's fine. I for like when they called the pass to was Crowder on this, it was like 4th and 17. I'm like, they're gonna. I was, and everybody around me was sure than shit that they were gonna stick with the call. I was like, no, they're not gonna reverse themselves. They will not reverse themselves. I guarantee they stick with the call on the field, and they did. But when the Bills knocked the ball out, just because his hand was going like this, the only reason the ball flies out of his hands is because he got fucking blasted. That was it. It should have been a fumble recovery, Bills ball right there. Nope. Let me read some of the comments here. I used to read Deadspin just to read Buffalo Bills fan stories. It was terrible, man. Like the shit show. I mean, because they knew like what was going to go on in the parking lot, and some of the horror shows that you would see with the girl and the I don't know, with the butt thing. It was just some of that stuff's embarrassing. Like the guy breaking his leg in the snowsuit, jumping through a table feet first. I'm like, man, don't do that stuff. You're gonna fucking cripple yourself. Don't do that. Is the Mike White hype dead in Jersey? I believe they were at Hackensack Memorial Cemetery, and I'm pretty sure the ceremony is still going on. Like you can go check, but I think the ceremony is still going on. It's dead. The guy has, what does he have? 4 touchdown passes, 5 touchdown passes. He's got 8 interceptions. Like, what are we talking about here? Like, the whole thing with him was they had a crazy game where they came back from 2 10-point deficits. A lot of crazy things transpired for them to do it. It was kind of like the Bill. I don't know if many of you remember, there was a Bills game in '98. Tony Banks was the quarterback for the Rams. Bills are at home versus the Rams. Lawrence Phillips was playing for the fucking Rams. Okay, he was a running back, and the Bills had control of the game. They were up. They were up decent, and then it just, all these crazy things happened for the Rams to come back and eventually win. It was just the perfect storm of fucked upness. The same thing. The Bills won a game like that against the Denver Broncos in 1990. The Bills scored seven. They were down 24-7 or 10. I can't remember which. They were down 24-7 or 10, right? Bills score a touchdown on offense. Boom. Bills uh, kick the ball off. First play for Denver. I believe it's a pick six touchdown. Pick six touchdown. Bills kick the ball again. Denver turns the ball over again. I believe they fumble it. Bills kick the game. I believe kick the game winning field goal. Game over. And that all happened within a minute and like it was like 27 or 17 seconds. It all went down within a minute and like 27 seconds. You can go find the game log of Denver at Buffalo in 1990. You'll see it. I remember that. There was, you know what it is, bro, Victor? It's the media here in New York that takes somebody like that. And it's nothing against Mike White. You know what? You're an NFL quarterback. You got to play with confidence and stuff. But coming out and saying that you should have been the first overall pick in 2018 and you got Josh Allen, you're playing against him, and then he goes out and does that to your team. You don't think they hear that shit and it's like, really, motherfucker? Okay, I got you. Bet we'll see you on Sunday, motherfucker. We'll take care of it. We'll let you know who's who and what's what, and then at the end of the day, we'll know why you were where you were and where I was where I was. That's all. Is now, you know what? The way the Jets coaching staff and the way the media treated Mike White, I mean, it's got to take Zach Wilson and put him in a bad headspace because it's not like, now you want me back? Now you love me? Like, didn't you motherfuckers? Wasn't I a mistake a few weeks ago? Wasn't I this? Wasn't I that? And this is what I wanted to. Two things. I'll bring this up first. They were working out Zach Wilson before the game a lot. Like he was in the end zone towards where we were sitting, and they had working him out a lot. Like he's a little dude. He is small. Like he is a very slight guy. Like me, I'm not quite in fight shape like I could be within like if I trained for like just a month, but I'm still like if I needed to like do something athletic, I could at an okay level. He's like me. I'm not a broad guy. He's built like me, like narrow, like not a big shoulder, not built like Josh Allen, not thick, not like hyper tall, nothing. Like he looks like a dude who could potentially be brittle. But I will say the ball jumps out of his hand. Like I was watching some of the passes he threw and compared it to Mike White, it's like night and day. Like the ball flies out of his hand pretty good. Yeah, and Sammy was always injured a lot, man. Like you said, I'll read some of the comments back and forth. It might be, damn, yeah, yeah, in a bad headspace, like because this media is toxic as fuck, dude. They don't care about the football team's success. They care what's best for their conversation. So as long as their numbers look good at the bottom, at the end of it, granted, is the team doing well? Does that help? Yeah, but if there's people tend to talk and want, like I'll be honest with you, like my biggest views on, and I'm a nobody. I'm a nobody, and I'm cool with that. I'm comfortable with that. My most of my views and my out like I'll occasionally look at it for shits and giggles. Most of my views and hits have come on here after crazy losses. Most of them. People like to get into, they like to find comfort in that it's strange. It's like self-loathing. They want to vibe off of it. What's up, Tom Viciousson and others? New England seems to be getting their shit together a lot quicker than we thought. Again, if you watch the game, they win the game. And if you Cleveland, they scored a touchdown early, and once New England came back and punched back, and you watch that game, it was like Cleveland vomited all over themselves. They couldn't do a damn thing right. Fumbles, interception, drop passes. The defense is a sieve. And for a defense that has two first overall defensive ends, right? Um, they have Owasu Oramoa. He was a pretty athletic linebacker. A lot of Bills fans liked him, especially if we had lost Milano. Denzel Ward, who's a fourth overall pick. Um, they have they have a couple other corners. I know Greedy Williams was a second round pick. Hill got hurt in that game. He was a pretty high pick for them. Grant Delpit was a second round pick for them. I don't know if he played. Um, their defense is just terrible. Their scheme sucks. Baker looks like Kirk Cousins. And if he's not buoyed by a strong run game, he they're dead. They are dead. Like they are just done. They are completely cooked. If they can't play downhill, get the run game going, and then Baker could start working off those boots and those play actions, they're cooked. That they are a one trick pony. Probably Mike. Probably Mike. Yeah, man, that's what it is. That's what it is, bro. Sharing your pain with those who are feeling your pain. That's what it's about. So I'm not saying New England's not a solid team. They are very good defensive team. I'll always say Belichick is still an average coach. He's an average coach. The young quarterback is playing well. I'll give him that. But again, a lot of like reverses, gimmick plays, simple little check downs, and NFL guys are just not making tackles. They're not playing downhill. They're playing on roller skates going backwards in an ice rink. Yeah. How do you have all that talent on your imagine the Bills having that kind of talent on defense and getting smoked like that against a rookie quarterback? Imagine that. We'd be fucking apoplectic if that's the correct word. We would be sick to our stomachs. We would be beside ourselves. It's just disgusting to think about. And if you're a Cleveland fan, you got to be sick. You got to be absolutely sick. I think Baker got pulled. They just pulled him, and they put Keenum in the game, and he didn't do much better. So, and their wide receivers, Landry kind of starting to look like he's old, washed up type of receiver who's, can't run like he used to, plays a physical brand. As we know, we have very physical. I don't wish him well at all. I don't wish him injury, but I don't wish him well as a player. I hope he flames out and doesn't make any money. I shouldn't say that. I just don't wish him success. That's all. I don't want to, be say like that, but I just don't wish him. I hope he drops passes and that's it. I just don't like the guy. You know why? Um, Schwartz, remember I wanted him too. It seems like he's only fast in a straight line. He doesn't have a lot of lateral quicks. He doesn't have a lot of, hips to his game. Um, Higgins is a, he's a pedestrian wide receiver. But Njoku, there's another first round pick. Hooper, highest paid tight end in the league. They have the highest offensive paid. They have imagine you're Cleveland and you have that offensive line. You have that offensive line, and it's like, what can you do? We'd be disgusted. Bucks lost to Washington. Cards got destroyed. It's yeah, man. It's beyond the week to week league. It's just I think teams win and lose games between Monday and Saturday. It's like, what are you doing Monday to Saturday? And that translates to Sunday. What's going on? What's not going on? And yeah, Brady, who knows? Maybe Brady gets maybe Grant the time catches Brady. It happens. He threw a couple of bad interceptions today. Grant, father times, TB12, the TB method, pliability, all this cute stuff. Father time just all of a sudden says, you know what, mommy, I'm here. It's time. Sorry, everything was great. Who knows? It could be. It happens. Yeah, Damager. It's just people are conditioned to always believe New England will find a way to be good. And I'm not saying they won't be a good football team, but they're not going to be the dynamo powerhouse that they were. It's going to take a lot for me. It's going to take a whole lot. Tom, I think the whole situation with the tanking is fucking laughable. You can have all the media and raw talent you want, but at the end, look at the Sabres and the Bills. The Bills went with substance, and the Sabres went with sizzle. They went with sizzle, quick fix, and look what happened to it all. And look the way the team plays now. The team plays with a lot of heart, a lot of passion. They battle in games. They scrap. They win some, they lose some, but they play with effort and energy. They don't look miserable and pouty and just like they'd rather be somewhere else. And nothing will turn sports fans off more than watching the athletes and the team that they cheer for and the guys that wear those uniforms for the teams that they cheer for have an attitude like that. Nothing turns us off more. We that just makes us disgusted. We hate checked out guys or not checked in guys. We hate that shit. And there's something the team, you've got the right guys, leadership, you can do anything. Because it's more like Oliver played really really well, man, today. Thanks for bringing that up, Jake. That's the next thing I wanted to bring up. There was two things, but you brought up something that I wasn't going to bring up, so thank you for that. Oliver, he's not getting the sacks. McDermott addressed it after the game, but he was fucking causing a lot of shit inside for the Jets. Like, and they have a decent interior. They have a first round pick with Elijah Vera Tucker, McGovern, Van Rotten are veterans, and he was making them move all kinds of shit. He was really really good, really good. It's just those sacks. It's like those sexy sacks. Also, Dawson Knox, even just him as a blocker, him in motion, him running routes, it just really helps open things up for everybody else. Just him on the field, and he plays with attitude. You saw it after the one catch. He only had one catch this game for 17 yards, but still, like, he got up and he just went all like he just get the fuck off me. The one Jet was on his back. He just fuck off me, motherfucker. Like, I don't want none of that. Just I was watching him very very well, and there was Sweeney played a lot today too. They ran a lot of two tights and a lot of tackle eligible stuff for some reason, but they were under center. They ran out of it. They threw out of it. The Jets really again didn't look like they didn't knew what was coming or going. God, this is so much. See, so much better than last week. I couldn't have picked or felt like, oh, this is the kind of video I want to come do, the kind of feeling, the kind of vibe I wanted to have if I couldn't have scripted a better vibe. And 14 people are in here right now, and that's awesome for me. I'm not one of these guys that's headhunting and number, like, oh God, I need the views, like, subscribe, click. Yeah, if you want to do that, great, fine. But if you don't, that's fine too. You know what I mean? I appreciate your time. That's all I wanted. I don't want, but I appreciate that because that's something. You could be doing other things right now, instead of listening to my ass. Was that a pass interference in the end zone? Yep. Where did it happen? I don't know if they're going to give it to him at the end zone, but they gave it to him probably inside the 10. So it looks like the Raiders are trying to tie it up right now. Yeah, he's and one of those other defensive linemen, and you know what's crazy, that today that was without Star. That's the kind of crazy stuff that happened. Star wasn't in the lineup, but I mean Star in the lineup makes them a better team, no doubt about it. What's up? Did you see Spencer Brown pancake on the Breida touchdown? Yeah, I saw that. The guy, he's the future left tackle of this team. He's huge. Like Hussein will attest. Like, to see, man, he's a fucking big dude, and he moves like a gazelle for a guy his size. Like, if he was running at me, I mean, just the man and the the man pride in me, I'm like, okay, I'm gonna try to take him on. But in my heart of hearts, I know what the outcome is gonna be. Like I'm going to be touchdown Raiders tie game. I want to see the Chiefs really be pushed. That's all. Um, yeah, he's gonna knock me back for probably like easy 10, 15 yards, and then probably just walk over my back. But he just a guy with that size and that movement, they don't make many men like that. They don't make many men like that. They're not common. So he's Moore said it after the game. He's a special. He can be a special player, and his attitude. That like when you have that prick in you and at that position, because you're basically in a like 60 mini fight. Like let's just say how many offensive plays you have on average a game, 60 to 75, anywhere in between that range. You're basically getting into mini fights with another large man, and you have to consistently win. If you're not a nasty prick, you're just going to be, depending on your skill level, you could be great if your skill level's high. You can be good, but if you're not if you're a nasty prick, your skill levels, your outcome's going to be higher. You're a fan, bro. A lot of other Bills content creators eventually become core. I don't know a lot of them, Hussein. I don't know their shtick. I know the whole brand building thing. They want to build themselves on the back of the Bills brand and the fan base, me, you, everybody else. And I think it's trashy. I think it's cheesy. I think it's tasteless. And it's not for me. Like I'm no. Like there's some guys who put out content, like all 22 content and stuff, and sometimes they get a little high-handed, highfalutin, thinking that they're like, spitting the gospel and they know stuff other people don't know. And I'm like, I don't say anything on Twitter, but I just want to, in my head, I'm just like, look, bro, you're way too full of yourself with this stuff. You just some of them cats just they're way too deep into their own shit, thinking it don't stink. That's all I'll say. Read some of the comments. I'm a bit worried about the Titans, even though losing Derrick Henry this team looks dangerous. Yeah, I mean they won a tough game, and they haven't had their bye week yet. At least I think, but they got to sustain it. I mean it's a long season, man. Still a long season ahead. Line on my back. Your connection is unstable. Okay, let me see. It's saying I'm okay. I'm back. Am I back? Let me put comments in my back. That was weird. That never happened before. Hope the Raiders make the playoffs just because how much off the field. Yeah, I just knock the Chiefs out because I'm not afraid of the Raiders. Back, awesome, bro. The Titans' offense isn't really that good. The Saints, yeah, I mean Trevor Siemian. Trevor Siemian. If Josh Allen either has longer cleats on, doesn't slip, I believe they win that game. So the Titans don't scare me in the sense. I feel like the Bills can play with anybody. It's like how Josh Allen said it before the game. They always put up those videos how he addresses the team before the game, and you could tell he was very serious today. He's like, "Yo, when we do us, nobody can fuck with us. Let's go out there, get a dub, win on 3. That's simple as that." Let me read some of the comments here. Okay. Saying yes, all the other YouTubers change and they're fake. They do it for views. I mean, I don't watch them. Like I know like a bunch of other people have referenced other Bills channels and what they talk about and stuff. I don't really watch them. I don't watch their stuff. Like there was one time back in 2013, this other Bills like thing tried not fucking with me. They tried like, like trying to like collaborate with me a little bit. I did not like the vibe at all. I did not like the way they did shit. So I was like, yeah, this isn't for me, guys. You guys can, do your own thing. I appreciate it, but no thank you. I won't say who they are, but I'm just like, nah, I'm good. But I'll always have. I was the first Bills channel. So be that as it may, in my room with my bed behind me, That is a $2,000 bed frame, by the way. That is an expensive ass bed frame. So I paid for some decor. The Predator bust was expensive too. So, and I had to wait over a year for it. But otherwise, you ain't getting much production value other than my ugly face and a Bills logo. Read some of the comments from you guys. No, they were resigned, Trevor. They really were. They seemed just resigned. There was an older Jet fan couple behind us, super, super nice, super nice. They were just kind of like, this is what it is. We're just kind of used to this. There was a Jet fan sitting next. There was another couple Jet fans, man and woman, sitting next to us. There was two empty seats in between us and them. We were on the aisle. I did this. He was just sitting there the whole game, no matter what happened. Shit you not, he did not break. That was it. That was his face. And after the Bills went up 38-30, I believe it was 38 to 3, they just got up and left. Like, didn't make a sound. They just got up and left. But I didn't see many pissed ones. Let me read back some of the comments. I'm glad I was able to get back in here. Um, oh, fucking! I don't understand why pass rushers hesitate when a quarterback does this or this. Just keep going at him. Why are you stopping? Just bum rush his ass. He wants to do all this eye candy shit to make you stop. And Crosby just bit it for Mahomes and let him just dink a pass, just this easy, cheesy pass to Kelsey. I hate that shit. Hope the Raiders make the. Oh yeah, I mean, it's like a thing because Frank, but it's crazy. You lose 2 first-round picks within a span of a week and a half. Your head coach has some crazy shit happen. The NFL is just being scumbags. And I'm not saying whatever he did was right or wrong, but the NFL is a bunch of scum too. They're not some poly perfect fucks. You go digging far enough, back enough, deep enough on anybody, you're gonna find a turd that you don't like somewhere. So that's kind of, to me, retroactively punishing people for things that happened decades ago is really that you're just, you might want to cover Kelsey. You might want to cover him there. Going back to the corporate thing, I'm old school United States Marine fan, late 80s, 90s. Used to even play for a city team back in Buffalo. Oh, soccer. My grandmother's sister, her daughter, I don't know if you know soccer well. She's my was second cousin Kim Wyant. She was the first keeper for the U.S. women's national team. She still, I believe, she still coaches the men's team for NYU Purple Eagles. So yeah, it's yeah. So I love soccer. So I mean, I'll watch it. Sometimes you see my feed has a little bit of soccer stuff on it. Don't mind it. It's just me up early morning watching like Premier League soccer in the morning. Oh man. Oh my God, Gus Bradley. It's amazing how these guys get recycled throughout the league. Like they'll get fired from one job, quit another job, and then just end up at another. It's just amazing how this league works. So I guess with coaches, it's like players. There's only so many good ones or decent ones to go around. Everybody finds their level. He was obviously not a head coach, but I guess as a defensive coordinator, he was, okay. How the fuck? Oh my God. Would you tell? Let me ask you guys a question. If you're a defensive line coach or a defensive coordinator, let's just say it even comes down from the head coach, right? It's at the semifinal and the final in United States men's national in Germany. Okay, I think that was Alexei Lawless and Harps, Tony Miola on any of those teams, bro? I maybe because this is going back a while. He just got out of there. Oh, he overshot. I forget who that is. Robinson. Oh, U.S. women. Yeah, that was tough. That was tough. Was that when they did all the extra time? They just kept adding time. It seemed like they just wanted to make sure that they tied the shit. I felt that was shady. The Olympics were the Olympics to me are shady. I don't really watch it because I think a lot of the Olympic events are subjective with the judges, and I don't trust it. So I hate. I remember when Germany destroyed Brazil in Brazil. So it looks like a 40-yard field goal from Bucker. Got it. It really sucks trying to watch a field goal in the stadium. Really sucks because you can't tell like if the ball goes in or out. You don't even watch the play. You watch the screen to tell. Like I'm watching the screen. I'm not even watching Bass kick extra points. I'm like, okay, I'm just watching the screen because I couldn't tell whether the ball was in or out. Oh, okay, you didn't go. That's cool, man. I still love watching soccer. I mean, I'll watch the women's national team sometimes when they're not pulling all the political stuff, but like the men's team had a couple of big wins against Mexico. But yeah, guys, today, get right game, mission accomplished. Josh played great, had the one pick, but I mean, again, the game was pretty much done and dusted at that point. Getting our guys back like Knox, Spencer Brown paid massive dividends, and then it's kind of an added bonus. You get to kick Williams back inside, and it just really helped calm everything down because for the most part, Josh had a lot of time to throw. There was a jailbreak. Pretty much, he got jailbreaked one time. Quinnen Williams kind of knifed inside of Morse and Williams, and just he just got home. Um, and then there was a safety blitz off the edge, and that son of a bitch was like hiding behind the defensive end. I remember watching it in real time, and it's like he was just crouched there and he just came around like a bat out of hell, and nobody saw him because that's how he got so free and clean on to hit on Josh. I was just glad Josh didn't fumble. Yeah, literally, Hussein, literally, and that's not an exaggeration. Nah, bro, it's all good. Again, your guys' room. I just run my mouth. Don't be sorry, man. Yeah, Spencer Brown's I mean, we love our players. We talk them up when they do great. We kind of give them shit when they do poor, but we see the difference that they make when they're on their P's and Q's and they're firing on all cylinders and you get a guy back. Maybe he learned a hard lesson, younger player, dude, don't go lifting at home without the team. Get on a red eye flight, your back stiffens up on you. You're a big man, you're going to be down on a crouch or a 3 4 point stand. You can't. You're gonna you know had to let his shit calm down because I was worried. Backs are tricky, man. One time, backs are and not a pro athlete by any means. I sneezed hard one time, and I remember I just sneezed, and my back was killing me for like 2 fucking weeks. I sneezed. It never happened again, but it was just like I fucking sneezed and my lumbar, like the lower part right above your ass, it was just like on fire for 3 weeks just because I sneezed hard and went forward. This was like I don't know, 10 years ago. I'm not even near as old as I am now. So backs are very very tricky, very very tricky. And with a guy like that size and the back thing, and he was out of, I was starting to get worried. I'm like, oh please, like every day, I shit you not, every time the Bills thing come up, the little notifications. If you get them on your phone, they'll come over here. You'll get like, hey, right, and then you'll say like, oh, every time I was like, please don't let Spencer Brown be on IR. Don't let Spencer Brown be on IR. Every time, I didn't even want to fucking look at it. Oh, come on, go go go. Damager, did you stream the game? Well, nah, I just watched it. I didn't listen to the broadcast. I just would watch the game in real time because there's a delay in the broadcast. So you're watching like pretty much, and I'm in the stadium and I'm with my girl, so I don't want to be like, this chat like detached in any way. So I just wanted to watch what was in front of me. So in being immersed in the moment, it was a great environment. Hussein could say Bills fans were really we were very well represented there, extremely well represented. Melanie had asked me before we got there. She's like, "Man, we're gonna be surrounded. We're gonna have are they gonna be cool with us and everything?" And I'm like, Melanie, look, there's going to be a lot of fucking Bills fans here. Bills fans travel, and it's only like a 4.5 hour drive down from Buffalo. Or there's Bills fans like that live in the some Bills fans that live in the surrounding states. Maybe if they live in PA, they'll make the drive, or Long Island, or they're going to make the drive. You know, different parts of Jersey. So you're gonna, and then she saw, she's like, wow, there are a lot of Bills fans here. I was like, see. And then when we got in the stadium, and the stadium was about its fullest, probably midway through the second quarter, it got as full as it was going to get, as packed as it was going to get. And she's like, oh wow, there's about the same amount of Bills fans as Jet fans, because you can really, red, white, and blue really stands out. And she's like, I was like, see. She's like, wow, they have a lot of fans. I was like, no, we have a lot of loyal fans, real fans. A lot of fan bases are fake, plastic, fair weather fans. She doesn't know sports like that, but in time she'll learn. Let me read some of the comments here. um that happened to my wife, sneezed and fucked her back up. For, yeah, it's just, dude, I was sitting here watching a fucking football game. It wasn't a Bills game though, and I just like, it was one of those sneezes that like, I was like, and I went and went forward, and I was like, oh fuck, and my back just went. I was like, oh. I still like went to the gym and worked out and shit, but man, I was in some fucking discomfort, bro. I felt that shit every step I took. Every fucking step I took, that shit hurt. Um, Hardcore 3 hours of four sports. Went home, sitting on my couch, parlayed, and my wife fell on the floor. I threw out my back, slipped off a curb, toes, slipped disc. Yeah, man, the backs are tricky. And when you're a guy, like, imagine a guy that's like a shade under 6'7" and about 3 bills and change. Like, dude, don't go home and work out unattended ever again. Like, you need professionals around you. You're a professional. You need to be monitored and shit. You're a commodity. You're gonna make a lot of fucking money in this league if you just, you know, take care of yourself in that way. Jersey is wild. My honest crazy Puerto Rican lady security guard at the airport from Weehawken. Oh yeah, Jersey's the best, man. We got some of the best characters. It's awesome. Crawled up, damn man. That's tough. Like, I was sitting. I stayed seated for several hours. I do remember, like, I was in a chair with wheels, thankfully, and I was able to push myself with my feet to my bed, and I kind of just went in there, and that's where I laid for the rest of the night. I think everybody when they're young thinks that. I think everybody, that shield of invincibility. I'm sure Henry Ruggs thought that. I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna I'm just gonna get home. Fuck, I'm just gonna get home fast, and it's all gonna be fine. And then lives become altered forever. It's a tragedy. It's a shame that happened, because that's what happens. It's this invincible cloak of youth, and it fools a lot of people. It really does. It really fools a lot of people. But you guys have been awesome. Thank you for filling the room with tons of shit, tons of great comments and stuff. It was a really, really great get back game. It sucks the Jets got a little bit of friends and family touchdowns at the end, but at the end of the day, we know what the game really dictated. If the Bills wanted to put the clamps on and not allow that shit to happen, they would have. But at the end of the game, it's like Tyler Matakevich, Jaquan Johnson, Saran Neal, Dane Jackson. A lot of the backup defensive linemen were in. Andre Smith was at linebacker a little bit. So the Bills really just said, you know what, we're going to back off here. Just keep, let our guys not have to take any unnecessary chances. One slip and you could lose a guy. You think Tremaine is going to demand top tier money, or do you think he'll take Tremaine the way he is? his mentality, I think the Bills will be able to afford him. He seems like a guy that they like. They picked up his fifth year option, so was it 18, 19, 20, 21, 20. So he's basically under contract for next year. And then at some point, maybe they work out something long term. He's a captain. He's a guy that's made the Pro Bowl. He's been playing he's been playing great football. I'm not gonna lie. Tremaine has been playing great football. And they value re-signing their guys, man. They just do. We've seen it. You know, look at Hyde got a contract extension. Poyer got a contract extension, and they've taken care of Trey White. They're just they like their guys, and there's certain guys that are going to be coming off the books this year. Hughes, Addison, and just a few other guys. So they're going to have some money to clear, and they'll be able to hopefully, get that done long term. But an hour and 40. Thank you guys. I appreciate you guys so much. Love you all. Great to run into you, Hussein. Your boy was mad cool too. I don't know who's called me out, you or him. It just kind of like, oh, Vicious, like somebody knows my YouTube handle real quick, and it turned out to be you. So thank you, man. Love you all. Condolences, Victor, Damager, Jake, two Jakes in the room. Tom's a. So you're still you're still a jarhead, dude. I can tell by the way you're still full of that P and V. You still got it in you. I know it. I know it when I see it. Eric, congrats, bro. You know what about. That's a big deal. Trevor, Eric, again, everybody. McBrizzle, thank you. Matt came in the room. He's working. So all the dudes who stepped in, thank you so much. Go Bills. It was great to get a win, have a, victory Monday, good rest of the week. Oh, man, got a serious opponent coming up. But after last week, all that just nastiness, let's just take this week, we got a 72-hour rule. We'll start thinking about the Colts on Wednesday. We're going to enjoy this for a few days. It was that nice. Go Bills. Love you all. Thank you so much. Peace. What do you think, Ramius?